Something absolutely unprecedented is happening right now on Capitol Hill while ICE deports violent criminals. A sitting U.S. senator and a failed presidential candidate are actively lobbying to bring this person back. That's right. The details of the story are almost impossible to believe. Tonight, we're going to reveal what the mainstream media is desperately hiding about this MS-13 gang member's background and why Democrats are risking everything to defend him. But the most sickening part, the mothers of American murder victims have been completely ignored by the same politicians. Their heartbreaking stories completely silenced, their pleas for justice dismissed. So why would elected officials choose foreign criminals over American victims? What's really driving this pathological obsession? Well, tonight, we're going to expose the ugly truth. And while we watch the deportation drama unfold, let me tell you about something that helps real American families. You see, the border crisis isn't just about security. It's about economics. And Americans deserve good jobs. That's why I love PatriotSwitchNNN.com and what they're doing there. This American-made brand offers non-toxic household essentials trusted nationwide. But they're also creating a legitimate work-from-home opportunity. That's right, no commute, no corporate overlords, just honest income supporting American manufacturing, not foreign competitors. Now, here's the thing. They're hosting a Zoom call explaining how this little side hustle works, the earnings potential, and the time commitment. Now, this is what you need to do. After you watch this, register today at PatriotSwitchNNN.com before spaces fill up, and join a movement that puts America first. You'll find it linked down below. Okay, this just in, everybody. There she is. Hillary Clinton is back. Check it out, guys. Hillary Clinton defending an MS-13 gang member. Yes, a violent criminal. And she wants Americans of conscience to help stop this deportation. This isn't compassion. This is insanity. The question is, whose side is she on? Americans or illegals? This is what she posted. This is what she actually posted. Before the election, I warned that there's no safe haven under authoritarianism. If they can ship Kilmar Abrego Garcia to a foreign prison accused of no crime, with no trial, they can do it to anyone. Americans of conscience must stand against this now. As of this report, 868,000 views. Oh, and who can reply? Only accounts that Hillary Clinton follows or mention. No, there's no replies. She shut off her comments because she knows she would get freaking roasted. I mean, she says accused of no crime. Actually, he has been accused of crimes. He had deportation orders. 2 judges ordered against this guy. The Department of Justice has already made it very clear. This is George Floyd 2.0, folks. And you're watching it. Hillary Clinton. And I decided to quote or subtweet or whatever you call it. I said, let's be real. If you or I aided a violent gang member, we would be locked up. But crooked Hillary, she's celebrated for it. This is not just double standards. It's a full-blown inversion of justice. So share this if you've had enough. And Bob Paulson has 3 little words for her that he posted just an hour ago. Oh, Bob Paulson, you can see what he has to say. And Jan, what is she saying? Oh, this is too good. This is too good. Such a pile of BS. When is Hillary going to realize she has become irrelevant? Grace, criminals defend criminals. What happened to America first? Well, Hillary does not believe in America first. Bitcoin Grizzly, I would gladly trade you for the MS-13 gang member. Hell, I think most of America would happily take an even dozen of them in exchange for you, you rotted old... Oh, my. Oh, wow. And Todd Jones points it out, too. Hillary loves having an echo chamber. Let's not forget she defended a rapist back in her early days as a lawyer, and points out that who can reply? Only accounts Hillary Clinton follows or mention. Yeah. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. What are the American people saying? Well, even CNN posted just a few hours ago on Rapid Response 47, most Americans support deporting all illegal immigrants. So despite what Hillary Clinton is posting about, the American people think otherwise. Listen.
Big part of the reason why deport all undocumented immigrants. Voters favoring the government trying to deport all 11 million of them. Back in 2016, just 38% of voters wanted the government to try to deport all 11 million undocumented immigrants. Compared to where we are in 2025, 56%, the majority. The American people have come a long way on this issue, much closer to Donald Trump, and I think that's a big part of the reason why Americans are increasingly saying the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy, and why Donald Trump's net approval rating on that issue is in the positive. Deport.
Americans are on the right side of history. Hillary Clinton is not. Here we have Insurrection Barbie posting this. Looks like a CNN clip. America is fed up with illegal immigration. Yeah, the fact check on that is true.
The New York Times, which is no conservative publication, did investigative reporting not long ago that looked at the Biden administration and concluded that the number of illegal immigrants that President Biden led into this country was the largest number of illegal immigrants in the history of the country, bar none. New York Times. Beyond that, this point about Scott just raised, the American people are fed up with illegal immigration, and they're particularly fed up with people who are criminals and also fugitives from the law. Tom Homan may get to the point where he's in schools or hospitals. We'll see if criminals are hiding there. They're not there yet. And the idea that somehow this is offensive to go after rapists, murderers, sex traffickers. That's offensive, but now those numbers are going to ramp up. I'll just make a prediction to you. Trump will increase those numbers well beyond what you saw under Biden. And lastly, there's 1 million plus fugitives beyond the criminals who've already been adjudicated, have already had due process, that are in the United States. So once they get done with the gangbangers, the sex traffickers, the weapons merchants, the other folks who are involved in heinous crimes, then they can get to work on 1.2 million fugitives who've already been adjudicated and get them out of the country. And when they get that all done, maybe we can get around to some of the other ones. The New York Times.
Let's keep going. Lawrence B. Jones displays some of the illegal alien monsters arrested in Chris Van Hollen's own home state of Maryland. Yeah, that's the guy that went down to El Salvador.
Of 6 states. So while the center focuses on issues overseas, what about his own state? Wow. In 2022, Maryland had about 300,000 illegal immigrants, and that's 5% of the state's population. Maryland is just one of 6 states, as you can see, that gained unauthorized immigrants between 2019 and 2022. Those folks were there illegally. And according to the White House, these are just some of who have been arrested or convicted of crime. As you can see, it's a long list of people. So while the center focuses on issues overseas,
long list
what
continues
about
while Maryland Senator runs down to El Salvador. He is ignoring the crimes in his own backyard. Homeland Security posting this: for too long, America's borders have been open to the worst of the worst from around the world. President Trump and Secretary Noem have empowered ICE to remove illegal criminal aliens from American communities. 7 hours ago, New York.
Undocumented. Immigration and Customs Enforcement have put out a statement regarding what the agency is calling an enhanced operation targeting, quote, some of the most dangerous and egregious criminal offenders in and around New York City. ICE says its officers have arrested 206 alleged criminals who are undocumented over the span of 1 week this month. It says 121 had significant criminal convictions, including one person who's wanted in his home country and one with a homicide conviction in the Philippines. ICE says this immigration enforcement operation was focused mostly on suspected members of some notorious violent gangs operating here in New York. Immigration and Customs.
The Vigilant Fox posting a shocker. CNN admitted Trump is humiliating Biden on immigration, and they brought the receipts. CNN's own Harry Enton revealed the brutal truth. Look at Trump's net approval rating on immigration.
Order at minus. Why is Trump focusing on immigration? Let me just tell you, this is where Trump wants to focus. Pretty pleased with a cherry on top. Why is that? Look at Trump's net approval rating on immigration. Compare where we are now, compare where we were at this point in his first term. In his first term, he was underwater at minus 12 points. Look at where he is today. He's actually above water. This is one of his strongest issues at plus 1 point. And more than that on the net approval for him on this issue has stayed steady in the positive. This is an area where Donald Trump wants to focus because the bottom line is this is an area in which the American people, at least the bare majority of them, seem to like what he's doing.
And you've shown the impact on how people feel about his handling of the economy and what he's been doing. So let's stay here with this. Compare where he is on immigration to where Biden was. We know that this was why he leaned into immigration so much.
Yes, this is a big reason why. So take a look here. This is on immigration. What track are we on? The right track or the wrong track? Look in December. Look at the percentage who said we were on the wrong track. 62% of Americans when Joe Biden was in office, compared to just 14% who said that we were on the right track. Flash forward to April. Well, hello. 45% say we're on the right track compared to 42% who say we're on the wrong track. So in a big switcheroo from where we were back in January, the plurality of Americans say that the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy. Back in December when Joe Biden was president, the vast majority said that we were on the wrong track. Again, this points out that on the whole, Americans like where we're going on immigration policy under Donald Trump, which is...
That's right. We're going in the right direction. And ABC News, the wife of wrongfully deported, this is their words, ABC News, the wife of wrongfully deported Kilmer Abrego Garcia had a temporary order of protection against him in 2021 in which she cited domestic violence. Court documents show, at least they're pointing out, that he had a domestic violence case against him. Here's AG Pam Bondi shutting down a reporter who wants to know what the evidence is that Kilmer Abrego Garcia is MS-13. Multiple judges already ruled he was, and it doesn't even matter. Garcia is an illegal from El Salvador. He was deported to El Salvador, and he's not coming back.
Illegal alien.
Not show the American people the evidence that he's MS-13 so they can make an informed decision. And that goes the same with this Henry Josue Santos, who was picked up in Virginia, who is now presumably going to be deported as well. Why not show the public the evidence?
Well, he is an illegal alien who has been living illegally in our country from El Salvador. ICE testified, an immigration judge ruled he was a member of MS-13. An appellate judge ruled he was a member of MS-13. Hard stop. He should not be in our country. He was deported. They needed one additional step in paperwork, but now MS-13 is characterized as they should be, as an FTO, as a foreign terrorist organization. So he is not coming back to our country. President Bukele said he was not sending him back. That's the end of the story.
That's the end of the story. There is no debate. So, Hillary Clinton can scream and cry on X all she wants. Senators can go down to El Salvador and try to raise hell, but it's not going to change. Here is Insurrection Barbie posting the mother of Kayla Hamilton, a young autistic woman who was brutally murdered by an illegal alien MS-13 member, speaks out about the callousness of Senator Van Hollen in his trip to El Salvador.
Garcia.
In Maryland.
Tammy Nobles is a mother outraged over the actions of a senator.
I never heard anything from him, no condolences or anything about Kayla.
Nobles speaking out after learning about Maryland Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen's sudden trip to El Salvador with hopes to bring back Kilmer Abrego Garcia, the man mistakenly deported from the U.S.
I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home.
President Trump's administration has called Garcia an MS-13 gang member who was in this country illegally, like the man convicted in Noble's daughter's murder. Noble's tonight stunned by Van Hollen's trip.
His political priorities are screwed up because he should be concerned with the American citizens in Maryland instead of chasing this guy that's not even here legally. These are vicious criminals. MS-13 is a very violent gang who does not care who you are.
Noble's daughter, 20-year-old Kayla Hamilton, an autistic young woman who was killed by Walter Martinez, an MS-13 gang member who was in this country illegally from El Salvador.
Yeah. That's who the Democrats are defending. That should tell you all you need to know, right? Unbelievable. Makes your blood boil, doesn't it? Here we have Harrison Fields. Man I've interacted with at the White House on numerous occasions. Had this to say with Jesse Waters regarding the illegal immigrant who was deported. Not wrongfully deported, as the news media would like to tell you.
I mean, we have a stack of paper. The media has zero credibility. And I'll tell you this, when we talked about Rachel Warren earlier today at MS-13, a USA Today reporter came into my office in the West Wing and said, the evidence that Caroline Leavitt mentioned, is that the only two things that you can point to? And I said, are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? That's the only two things. He's a woman beater. That's USA Today.
I mean, we have a stack of papers so high from detectives and from judges in Maryland, a blue state, on Garcia. It'll make your eyes bleed.
The media has zero credibility, and I'll tell you.
Zero credibility. Let's keep going. We got more to break down. Here is Scott Jennings bringing Abrego Garcia back and deporting him again.
On
Scott,
CNN. The Wall Street Journal editorial page puts it this way. They say Mr. Trump would be wise to settle all of this by quietly asking Mr. Bukele to return Mr. Abrego Garcia, who has family in the U.S., but the president may be bloody-minded enough that he wants to show the judiciary who's boss. If this case does become a judicial showdown, Mr. Trump may assert his Article 2 powers not to return Mr. Abrego Garcia, and the Supreme Court will be reluctant to disagree. But they say Mr. Trump would be smarter to play the long game. He has many, much bigger issues than the fate of one man that will come before the Supreme Court. By taunting the judiciary in this manner, he's inviting a rebuke on cases that carry far greater stakes.
Interesting point. I don't know what they're going to do. They do have an out here, as David just said, which is ultimately they could bring him back and then rearrest him and deport him somewhere else. And so for however long this plays out, they always are going to have that out, which is before it gets to the point of crisis or whatever you want to call it, they can bring him back and send him somewhere, maybe somewhere much worse.
Yeah, send him someplace much, much worse. Here is, look at this. Look at this. We've got Bill O'Reilly. Check out Bill O'Reilly. Here's his take.
And if you're going to, now I will warn the Democratic Party and the far left that this hombre is not what he appears to be. And if you're going to take his side, you're going to look stupid.
It's the George Floyd dynamic.
Coming.
George Floyd redux.
Yeah, it's worse. It's worse. And News Nation has led the pack, because the rest of them are lemmings, News Nation isn't, in saying, wait a minute, this guy's got a domestic beef against him. He was stopped in Tennessee with a bunch of undocumenteds in his van, transporting them. So be careful about this, far left kooks, because this is not what it seems to be. But overarch, I believe in our Constitution. If the Supreme Court issues that ruling and I'm president, I obey the ruling.
Okay, what else? The left seems okay with it. Here's Real America's Voice. In the press briefing yesterday, a woman lost her daughter, spoke in great deal. We covered this yesterday, but here's some more.
Exactly. So Rachel Warren's mother had a moment with reporters at the end of this press briefing where she stunned them after her story by turning around and telling them exactly what is wrong with the depiction of her daughter, mother of 5, raped and murdered, not an inch of her body that didn't have a hole, a bruise, a cut, or a contusion on it. Not an inch of her body. Her face bashed in on the left side, the back side, the front, the right. I mean, these aren't things we want to talk about in the morning on a morning show, but it needs to be said, Brian, because she had a message for reporters who were referring to this illegal terrorist MS-13 member as a Maryland father. Here's her message.
You know, the media can say all they want. All they want. But here is Stephen Miller setting the record straight outside the White House.
Stephen, is the president going to ask for him to be returned to the United States or not? Like, yes or no?
First of all, it's not a question for me to answer, but I think that the assumption that underlies the question is what needs to be corrected, which is that there was no mistake that was made. He was sent. Let me ask you, what do you think would happen to him if he came back to this country? As your understanding of immigration laws, what do you think would happen?
But I'm just asking.
No, it's important to know. You're asking a lot of questions. You are all asking a lot of questions about this, and you all seem to care about it a lot. So let's see if any of you have researched anything about this issue at all. Can anyone here tell me what would happen to the illegal alien from El Salvador if he came back to the United States? Does anyone here know? Does anyone want to guess? Any of you?
He could be with his family.
What does any of you know the answer to the question? Legally, what would happen if he came back here? Does any of you know? Any of you?
Do you really
you've
believe
been
the
writing?
Supreme Court,
I'm talking now.
You really believe the Supreme
you need
Court
to stop. I'm talking now.
Doesn't think he
Does
should be
any of you?
returned? Why was it unanimous?
You're done. Does any of you know the answer to the question? Does any of you? You've been talking about it for days.
Would deport him again, no?
He would be arrested.
Okay.
He'd be put in confinement. He would be deported the second time to El Salvador again, because there's no withholding order for an alien who's a member of a foreign terrorist organization, number one. Number two is the gang that he's a member of doesn't exist in El Salvador anymore. So what you're asking for is to be deported twice. But additionally, if we chose to just pretend that the withholding order was real, he would be deported to a different country. So, for example, he could be deported to Egypt. So I'm just trying to understand, is it your view, in other words, you have to find a country that would be willing to take a MS-13 member from El Salvador. So I'm trying to understand from you all is, so if he came back and under our laws, he was then deported to Egypt or to Somalia, would you then be saying, great, I'm so glad that you deported him to another country? Is that what you'd all be saying? Like, do you understand our immigration laws at all?
Sure, bring him back. Bring him back. What are you going to do? Put him in a safe house? ICE will show up again. I mean, he already has deportation orders. I don't even know why the media is so fixated on this guy. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's where we are right now. And taking it all the way back to Hillary Clinton, right? I mean, she's even screaming that this is authoritarianism. Americans of conscience must stand up against this now. I'm shutting off comments so you can't have a debate and you can't drag me. Go back to your hole, Hillary. That's where you belong. Hell is missing a citizen. Now, ICE reports 206 criminal aliens that were arrested in New York alone this week, including murderers and sexual predators. That's 206 American communities made safer. That's 206 potential victims who won't have to suffer. That's what a functioning immigration system looks like. Yeah, CNN hosts like Dana Bash are visibly frustrated when guests don't condemn the deportations. Media outlets call Abrego Garcia a Maryland man instead of what he is, a foreign national with gang ties. And Senator Van Hollen has time to fly internationally for a criminal, but no time to call Patty Marin, whose daughter was brutally murdered by an illegal alien. When politicians care more about foreign criminals than American victims, what does it say about their priorities? Has the Democrat Party become so lost, so radical, they're willing to defend MS-13 members just to spite Trump? Comment below. And while you're there, hit the description and go to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and grab your limited edition Next News gear.